This video is sponsored by the Design Mechanism, the makers of Mythras. Mythras is a registered trademark of the Design Mechanism Inc., used with permission. All rights reserved.
Because if there was three of us, we would have done PUBG. If there was four of us, we would have. Sorry, if three of us would have done Apex. Two, we would have done Hunt.
What we did.
Yeah.
If there was three or four of us, we would have done PUBG.
Oh, I saw you play. I thought I'll do something else.
Oh, I'll have to come on and join you one day. Then
Definitely should.
is there crafting in PUBG? Can I do crafting?
Yes, there is. You can craft a grenade and make it into a big, beautiful flower.
Excellent. Right. Yes. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Odes campaign, which is using the rule set of Mythras, rule set that is based on a percentile dice, where people have skills, we have hit locations and armor, and there's a variety of different spells going around. You might notice that just below me at the present moment in time, there is some information about the characters. Busy flicking through, so by all means have a look at that throughout. It will change, and we'll put up rules about roles and also maps, etc., as we go throughout the session. But yeah, I think I introduced your characters last week. Oh, I've just spilt coffee down my throat.
It burns.
It's all right. It hit my thigh. All the important bits were said.
Help me, I'm melting.
Nothing melting there. I'll just have to, while you're just introducing your characters, I'll just have to take my trousers off. So just so you know.
I didn't realise it's that kind of evening tonight.
Yeah, yeah. I will be continuing the rest of the stream without standing up. You will just see me from this point upwards.
Fallen over at the back. Just
say again, sorry.
No, it hasn't. It's okay.
No.
Okay. So you can introduce your own characters this week after I did a very sterling job of it last week. I thought I did really well. So who would like to take up the baton first and introduce their character?
Do you want to know something?
It's Gulliver then. Go
Sure.
for it.
I would. Hi guys, I play Gulliver, the apprentice sorcerer. He's the youngest member of the group. Exactly how old he is, well, he doesn't know because he's an orphan. Whereas some of them are strong, some of them are quick. Gulliver's none of those. He's short and scrawny and not very strong at all. To give you an idea of how weak he is, to lift Hengist's sword, which Hengist wields with a single hand as he sweeps back and forwards, Gulliver can't lift it with one hand. It takes him two hands just to lift the sword off the ground. What he lacks in strength, he more than makes up for in intelligence and power. He is a magic user, a sorcerer. So the spells that he uses, they're centered around teleportation, communication, and transportation. He's in an order, which is one of the four sorcery orders of Odes. His one is the Order of the Kraken. And yes, I shall pass on to whoever wants to go next.
Cool. Go for it.
Mr. Pickles.
Silence.
Mr. Pickles is going to take over. I play Bartleby Fumus, our team's theist or priest, however you want to describe it. I serve the goddess Amriel, one of the 2 twin moons, the light moon, of course. Bartleby is our team's healer, knowledgeable person of monsters and history. He's got some street knowledge, not unlike a few other members of this party, but mostly because Bartleby uses the powers Amriel grants him to help out in the poorer parts of the towns, and he knows a little bit of how to protect himself and how to stay safe on the streets while serving Amriel. He has a backstory of being a bit of an entertainer, but that only got him broken hands. So I'll pass on the mic to somebody else.
Hi guys, I'm Longshank CPG. Tonight, as always, I'm playing the character Hengist. He's the second son of a once noble house in a far-off land that kind of got on the wrong side of a big civil war, and they lost a lot of territory and a lot of renown. Grew up with another member of the family, learnt how to fights with sword, shield, heavy armor. Not much can move him once he gets going. So like enemies sort of like fall away like weeds as he carves them up. Very loyal to the people in the party, and is on the quest to find his sister who was kidnapped by this very shady gang of, he's not quite sure what, but they have a twin-headed snake logo. And he's trying to find them, and they seem to have been mixed up in all the big events that are going on in the area that we are, and I'm rambling, so I'm going to pass on to Medivac.
Hello, everybody. I am Medivac, and I play Hazra Khan. He is a nomad. He wandered down from the northern steppes of Odis, and he's fallen in with this wonderful group of people. He's trying to save Mr. Bartleby, who has these magical relics on him. He doesn't know they're magical, but they are just relics that are draining his life force away. He's recently joined a brotherhood which is tasked with documenting and recording everything that happens in certain biomes, or all biomes, and how people affect them, how creatures affect the areas. He's recently been teleported by Gulliver, which is his pet hate. He does not like magic. He's very wary. He doesn't know where it comes from. He's strange. Whereas Amriel, he understands Amriel to a certain sense being a beautiful thing that happens to all the good people in the world. And he thinks of himself as a good person. He normally has a spear and a scimitar, but at the moment he just has a scimitar because he threw a spear at this funny goat-like invisible thing. But anyway, with that, I shall pass on to Inwils, who is the god above.
Yeah, I certainly am. And I'm going to prove it tonight. No, I've just been sorting out my cards. I love it when my cards are all in order. So I've got all the red ones and yellow ones, the green ones, and then the red and green ones. So it's really nice. So all these sort of like have like things like bash on, and that on the thing for all the critical. And then the yellow ones are really nice because they're like action point ones, so I can turn them over. So on one side it says action point, and then once I used it I just flip it over, and so I can keep track on things. I really like them.
You'll have to do an app so that you can have it on.
There was an app. There was an app actually devised, but it never got out of... Somebody created it, but it never got... published, and there's still talk about it on some of the forums about it.
That's good too.
Yeah, and I think it's only because it's very Mythras is very niche, you know, rather than if it was a D&D app or something like D&D Beyond, you know, everything would be up there and ready for it. Anyway, let's get back to the thrilling adventure. So basically the top and bottom of what's happened, I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time on it. The party have journeyed from Linda, which is the capital city of Odes, which is the continent that they're adventuring in. They've travelled to there through a small village called Goodwool. in search of Lucius's villa. They are looking for the Chaos Mother's temple. They know that a couple of scholars or individuals are also looking for the temple. They grabbed some stuff from Count Bastian's library within Lindo and a book and headed off some time ago now. And the party sort of like followed in the general direction. They're not too sure where these other two people are or what was in the book. But the librarian at Lindo knew that there was a clue to the location of the Chaos Mother's temple within Lucius's villa. So the party have had several attempts to actually infiltrate the villa, and their last attempt was quite successful. They captured some guards, some mercenary bandits, who then gave them some information before they went on their way, and they've crept into the villa while the main group of bandits are off somewhere else robbing a caravan, which is what the bandits normally do. Of course, they have no idea when they are going to return, or how many guards are actually left in the bandit villa. They, as Gulliver or Hazra mentioned, Gulliver teleported Hazra inside, who was then able to grab the key and open the door from the inside, and they went into the large atrium of the villa, and that is where we're going to pick it up now. And I'm just so you know, once we get there, I'm going to give you a brief explanation about what you saw once again. So this, you should be able to see it now. Is that, can you see it?
Yeah, I just need to zoom out a bit, I think. Yeah, there we go. I can see me as well.
Yeah. So as you can see, just so you know, if you're watching the stream, any of the sort of like the white colours, the party can see. Any of the grey colours, they cannot see. So I'm just going to quickly, guys, just go through what you can see, and then you know. So this room down here was the room that you came through. And
storeroom, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you know that there were similar storerooms around that sort of like length of the corridor. I'm just going to just nick a little bit of grey off there, so you can see some doors down there now. Yeah. Okay then. So this part in the middle, the big A, if you remember, it's like a tall room. It's about 6 meters high. There's a large opening in the center of the roof directly over the pool that you can see in the middle there, and you know that there's a stained glass windows that actually depicts some sort of hunting scene, if you remember. The floor
is that on the bit above the
yes, yeah.
Mount.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
The atrium is obviously built to impress originally, but is now quite ransacked and torn. You know, it's not good, and there's sort of like buckets and bowls and tables, etc., strewn around here. It's almost like the bandits have been living here. You can see this room down here you had seen before from the outside. Yeah, sorry, I'll just ping it. This room here. This was an alcove that you had seen before that had some kind of gatherings of what appeared to be like silks and things like that in it. And then this alcove here, the one to the north, is the one that is boarded up from your side. Okay, it looks like the villa sort of like carries on round there. That's obviously a corner. You've got 3 doors along the north wall there, and you can also see by Gulliver and Bartleby you've got doors to the north and south of you. The only other thing that you need to know is this place here. If you remember, that's a glass window that looks onto the garden beyond. If you remember, the villa is sort of like a C shape on its side with an internal garden, and there was a bit of a wall, if you remember, outside that separated out, and that's a window that looks out on it. When I say a window, it's very dark and murky and you know, it doesn't look like this place is being kept up to its normal cleanliness, shall we say. Okay, yeah, and is there anything else you would like me to describe before we set off for tonight's adventure?
From what we can see, there's no staircase.
No, not at all.
Okay.
Yeah, a single story building, and this is where there were signs of the bandits actually camping in here, wasn't there?
Yeah, it looked like that there had definitely been in here.
Party and yeah.
Yeah, probably places for meeting, general socialising, and things like that.
Wonderful.
Now, just to let you know, there was a request last time for people to know how many luck points you have. I was going to put it on your actual targets here, but your tokens, but they are a bit small because of the scale of the map. But if you, we'll see how it goes, and then I'll think of a way. I don't really want to put them on the actual overlay because it means I have to change it all the time. So, but we'll see how it goes.
I have 27.
Yeah, and for some unknown reason, Bartleby is more of an oval.
Oh, wow.
It's what happens.
Yeah.
Possible.
It's the weight of Amriel.
Just was sitting there for a bit, yes.
Yeah, and I don't know why. Actually, I can't deal with that. I'm going to have to drag you on again to see whether or not, because you're very much of an oval, and I can't understand why.
Oh my God, it's hatching!
Right, we'll just pop you in there. There you go. Right, I'll just make sure that you can control that. Oops, I did it.
Would you be able to put the luck points as our nameplate on a token?
Yeah, I still, we can try. I just wouldn't be. I think because your tokens are so small.
Yeah, that would be just as bad as the dot.
We can have a look. This is you with your luck point on you.
3.
Do you have 3? Let me have a look.
Do you want to know the funny thing is, apart from
It's a bit. It goes a little bit
Hengist,
below. That's right. Yeah, sorry, Gulliver.
apart from Hengist, I have no idea how many luck points people have.
Yeah. Hengist is very easy to know.
Yeah. So just to let you know, your luck points will be back on. However, magic points have not regained because you haven't had a rest of any description. Okay then, so yeah, the only thing that I would want to try to achieve in today's game is what I was saying in Discord, rather than it becoming almost like a dungeon crawl. You know, everybody moving to one bit, then the other bit. I was just trying to imagine how you would actually coming into a space.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, you hit the nail on the head when you said that on Discord.
Yeah, and yeah. I think rather than... I think too often in role-play games, we try to move around as if not to get injured. Or we're trying to preempt what might be happening, you know.
But in this situation, we've got time as an element, so we need to be moving fast. And
yeah. So anyway, it's all down to you guys. What would you like to do?
Well, Azra, surveying the room, see what he's seeing coming through there. He's going to say, "I'm going to have a look up ahead and see what I can see through the window, and see if I can hear any noise of people around here." And he'll move towards this direction here.
Okay then. Hengist, what will your action be?
Well, Hengist will say, we might as well search the place thoroughly. I'll start in those rooms off there, and he'll gesture off to his right, and I'll head off towards these doors.
To the north, yeah.
So okay. Just to add, I will have a scimitar in hand, by the way.
Yeah, I presume that your weapons are out and drawn. And Gulliver, what's going to be your plan?
So Gulliver, well, just so you know, if Gulliver's communication with anybody whilst he's in here, he's going to be speaking in hushed tones, and he will go over to the person if he wants to ask a question or anything.
Okay.
And if he's using his weapon, then because
does he have a weapon?
Yeah, I know, but his magic points are getting low. So if it does come to him actually having to use his dagger, he will automatically ward his head as a location.
Okay, for free action. Yeah. And so what are you planning on doing now?
So I mean, Gulliver's going to say to Bartleby in a hushed tone, "Do you think we're looking for the entrance, or do you think we're just looking for the key, for the clue? If
Entrance.
Well, if it's the entrance, then it's probably going to be hidden.
And probably we'll have to start searching. I'll have to put on my Amriel eyes.
That's a good idea. I'm going to go and check the fountain."
That's exactly where I was going to go check. Let's walk there together.
Oh, how sweet! Did you lock the door as you came in?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And who has the key?
The key is in the door.
Is it in the door or back on the hook?
Back on the hook.
Okay then. Cool. Okay then. You sort of like have a gaze through the window, Hazra, into the area beyond. Can you just roll for me a perception roll? This is not, it's just because you're looking through a dirty window, and I want to see how much you actually observe. Yeah.
It's very cloudy. This window is very dirty.
Yeah, so I'm going to sort of like reveal a bit of what you can actually see. So you can see that to the south, there seems to be some kind of palisade. It seems to be some kind of pillars. They seem to just be pillars. They don't seem to be anything in between them, but there seems to be some kind of plinth along the top that is giving some kind of shelter. It looks a bit like what do we call them in stately homes? Folly. It looks like some kind of a folly. So it looks like it's been built. You can see that there's those circular things are bushes, and they seem to be organized in rows. You can see the pool out there as well, which seems to have a tiled area around it. It looks like a typical very ornate garden out there that once was. It's now the bushes are not sort of like as pruned as perfect as they were, but the grass quite unexpectedly is still quite short. And it's at that point that you're sort of like gazing through the windows, sort of like gaining an idea. This you do get an idea that the garden continues out of your field of vision. You get this. You're sure that you hear what appears to be the bleat of a goat, or one or two goats. Hengist, you're up at this door. What would you like to do at the door?
Hengist is going to carefully, if it looks like it can be pushed open, he's going to carefully push it open.
Right. So, do you have sword and shield out?
So he'll have sword out. His shield, he won't, because if there's doors and things, he's going to be wanting to be able to use his left hand to open doors and that sort of thing.
Right. So your shield is where?
So he's strapped it over his backpack.
Okay. Cool.
There's a little hook thing on the side of his backpack that he can put the strap on.
Okay, cool. Yeah, this looks like a normal internal door. It seems to have some kind of latch.
Okay. So he'll carefully open that.
Yeah. Okay, so you open it up, and it's obviously a storeroom, very similar to the ones that you came through beforehand. it's definitely a storeroom. Gulliver and Bartleby, you're now at this pool in the middle of the. It's obviously a pool that catches the rainwater, almost like if you're familiar with Roman architecture, like the art atrium. It's obviously open at the top and the rain will just come straight down. And you notice that there's a different tiling pattern around the outside, but it's not too clean. You also notice that the water in the middle, once you both get there, is quite... doesn't look pure. And you notice that there's a few bottles and bowls and items of cutlery that have been sort of like thrown in there, and there's some various dubious looking things floating around in various places.
Is it like so the actual sides of it, is it like a mosaic, or is it...
It's just a different tiled pattern.
It's just a different pattern.
Yeah.
Okay, so Gulliver wants to walk round it, keeping on the tiled bit. He's using his
keeping on the floor tiles or on the tile. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he wants to use his perception to see whether or not he can see any scrapes where it might indicate that the whole thing moves, and revealing a staircase. He's thinking it's a temple.
So roll your perception. Mr. Bartleby, what would you like to do?
I was hoping to use the prayer of Amriel site. I'll just pop it over here. And I was hoping I could take minutes, but I'm not sure.
That's absolutely fine. You could take minutes.
I want
to wave my arms and whatnot.
Yeah.
As well, please.
You want to do... Say again, sorry, Gulliver, I didn't hear that.
I would like to use a point of luck.
Okay, point of luck, yeah.
Well, putting me down to 2 luck.
Okay, cool. Bartleby, you sort of like wave your hands about and call down on the power of Amriel to give you that sight that shows magical items or the aura of magic. And you sort of like notice that there's nothing magical about this area at all. You do, however... Because obviously you're not just going to stare down, you sort of like to have a glance around, and there's definitely something magical. There seems to be an aura of unfamiliar magic. It's definitely not divine magic that you can sense, but it's coming from that blocked off alcove that you saw before. It almost like looks like it's... Well, to be honest with you, it looks like it's drawing almost like magic in rather than pushing it out. You can sort of like see the natural magic in the air that sort of like surrounds all things, a bit like the force being dragged in. It seems to be almost like a vacuum pulling in, but that's the only magic that you see in this whole area. Gulliver, you walk right the way around. There's a lot of chips in the floor. It hasn't been maintained, and you can see at various places that things have been dropped, etc. But there's nothing that, by the time that you get back to the beginning, there's nothing that would suggest that anything moves. This part here is literally almost, sorry, I'm just on my wrong thing. Here is almost like flush to the floor. In any case, I mean the atrium, the pond in the middle is submerged, but it's only 50 centimeters deep. It's not huge at all. Well, sorry, 30 centimeters deep, about the length of a ruler, and then that's it. So
Gunner's going to turn to Bartleby and he's going to go, I don't see any signs of that this moves.
Bartleby will lift a finger and point over to the magic vacuum and kind of shakily pointing at it, and then get into whispering range, if we weren't already there, and say, there's something not right over there. It's not divine. It seems to be drawing something in. Do you think you could apply your training to that?
What, and dispel it? Or do you want me to go and have a look? I could peek through the gaps.
I don't know what it is. It's very unfamiliar, but it's not from the gods or the goddesses.
But it must be something that the bandits know about and want to keep in there, because otherwise, well, if they thought they could use it, they would have just torn those planks off, wouldn't they, and had it for themselves. So they're either scared of it, or they want to use it later.
We better grab Hangus for this.
I could get ready to cast a spell and neutralize any magic if it comes out. It could be like a trap. Can you remember that thing that used to breathe fire that we encountered? Maybe it's something like that. The one in the library.
Oh yeah, Hangus saved me there too.
Well, maybe this time
It's just Hengus, just stand in front of them, please. This thing is just stand there, thank you. Hengus, the human shield.
Or the crash dummy.
Yeah, the crash test dummy. Oh, bless.
I'm not yellow.
Gulliver's going to go over to Hengist, and he's when he gets close, he's going to say, Hengist.
Well, I was thinking what you probably would have done is probably all sort of like met back after your sort of like perusals back to probably just because you're not likely to sort of like come across stand outside any doorway, probably somewhere round here to sort of like conflab again. These walls, these down here, remember, you know that those are storerooms.
That's what we look through the window from the outside.
Yeah, and I'll reveal this.
I'd assume that these are.
I'll reveal that's the other one that you looked through, and that was a storeroom, and these two were also storerooms.
I'd assume that these two up here would be the same. That's assumption, though.
Yeah, you can assume what you wish.
No.
Yeah, so you sort of like come together and sort of like exchange sort of like information about the various areas, and of course Hengist and Hazra, Bartleby, I presume you are bringing them up to date with the purple bit up there.
Hazra will turn to. I think like the ghost, the goat thing that came out from the gates. There seems to be a goat thing in the outside the window in the garden there. So we must be wary of that, just in case it is the same being that came out of the gates to attack us before.
Hazra, just roll your locale for me, please. Yeah, you figure. I mean, you probably been around goats beforehand, out on the steps, yep. And they sounded like normal goats. They didn't sound like anything hideous or large. It's just sort of like normal goats.
Friendly goats.
No, I did not say friendly goats. I said goats. There is a big difference.
Boy.
I think they're going like that. A little bit higher, I think, in the higher register. Yes.
They were the willies like our goats of the North were.
Jigglewigger, your mic's a little quiet. I know you're speaking quiet, but you're...
Because I was whispering.
I know, but it's also a little bit quieter sometimes as well.
All right. Did anybody see any signs of the off-duty bandits? Because there was two at the gate, and we know that the door was locked from the inside, so we know that there's at least one more here.
No, I didn't.
Hazra does try. No, I just shake my head.
I've only managed to look in one room, but that was just a storeroom. We've still got a couple of rooms to check first. I in
Nice.
one of those.
I think we should check the alcove when we have a chance.
Well, let us check these final 4 doors first before we check the alcove, because there's nothing worse than having the enemy come from behind. So let's clear this room properly first, and then I will keep an eye on this door here, and perhaps maybe Hengist can check the other 4 doors.
I can do that. And Hengist will turn and he'll immediately walk towards the door that next to the one that he's already looked at.
Okay, so the bottom doors down here are the other storerooms, and this one is also a storeroom.
Okay. Seeing that there's no enemies in that one, he'll immediately move to clear the next one along.
Okay, then we'll
slow
pop
and-
yourself up there. And Hazra, can you please make for me a willpower roll? Yeah, and you're sort of like stood near to this boarded up chamber, and as you're standing there, you suddenly get this feeling of dread, this feeling of absolute terror, as if something strange is trying to almost like pull you into the alcove. And you notice that as this happens, you notice that your jackal, is it a jackal tooth?
Panther.
No, panther. Yeah.
Panther.
Jaguar. So jaguar.
Yeah,
Too.
a jaguar sort of like tooth, sort of like gets warm against your chest as this feeling starts to multiply and multiply. But it gets to the point that you're just this just like too unnerving, and
Yes,
you don't sort of like flee away or anything.
I will back away.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Yeah, it's all right.
You're
I've got you. I've got you.
Be gentle.
You sort of like move away down here. You don't sort of like run away. You sort of like back off. And Bartleby and Gulliver, you see him backing off. He's not turning a run. Yeah, and he sort of like probably clutches the jackal tooth as you walk away. And what you do notice is that as you walk away from here, the warmness of it sort of like dissipates as you get there. Yes, sorry, Hengist. At the same time, you will be doing what to this door?
So he's going to be opening it again carefully, sword sort of like at waist level, so it pointed towards the door at waist level, so he's ready to, if anything springs out, to defend himself.
Yeah, so
He's half expecting the off-duty bandits to be around.
You open the door. The door opens inwards to this room, and you can see that it's obviously some kind of a bigger room. It obviously goes off to the left and the right, and you can see that there seems to be lines of what appears to be blankets on the floor. They're not in regimental lines. They're just sort of like dotted all over the place. Could you roll a perception roll for me, please? Yeah, and you sort of like look inside, and you notice that something on the far side. I'll just put a little line for you, just here. You can just in the edge of your eyesight there, you can sort of like definitely see that there's actually something underneath a blanket. There's a human bulge in it, and you sort of like open the door and you can see that sort of like bulging there. What would you like to do, Hengist?
So Hengist is going to turn his head slightly so that he can see the others. And then if they're looking at him, he's going to make a motion to come over. If they're not looking at him, he will gently tap the side of his blade against the door frame, just enough that it's to get their attention, but not hopefully to wake the chap up.
Yeah, well, they're roughly the same distance apart between the. So Bartleby and Gulliver, you were probably preoccupied with Hazra backing away from this door. So Bartleby and Gulliver, if you would like to make perception rolls, and I will make one as well.
Perception.
Yeah.
I just need to whiz down to my favourite place. Where I have all the monsters. There they are. I just need to see what their perception is. 412. Yeah, so you... sorry, that was me just putting a blob there. That's nothing. Yeah, so who made it? Gulliver, you... Yeah, Gulliver, you hear it first. You hear Hengist tapping his sword against the door, was it?
Yeah, so it's sort of like sound like this, but slightly less.
And you sort of like, you hear a tapping sound coming from Hengist. And Hengist, you sort of like tap the side of the door frame like this, and you notice that the guard sort of like, or the lump in the blanket sort of like, seems to almost like readjust itself, and then goes back to being quite still.
Okay, so he'll be looking to see if anyone's noticed, and if they have, he's going to beckon them over.
Okay, yeah. So
so Gulliver's going to go over and sort of like looking.
Yeah. What about the rest of you, Bartleby and Hazra? You, I mean, Gulliver.
Yeah, Hazra's going to go over to Bartleby and be like, Bartleby, that door is... And he'd be whispering this, be like, but in that frantic... It's terror. It's fear. I felt like I felt unmanned.
Yes, it seems very, very dangerous. I wouldn't have suggested going over there. I think Gulliver might be the best to handle that issue.
I agree, much as I worry about him, but yes, I agree.
If you're panicked, Hazra, I can say a prayer for you.
Save a prayer for me now, forever and ever.
And much as my friend, I prefer you save your Amiriel prayers for something of a greater nature. I shall conquer this fear.
Yeah, so you're sort of like talking over at this doorway. Yeah, the door's still open, and Gulliver, well, you're all over there now. I've just put, Hazra, you'll probably want Bar to be in between you and that door, so that's why I positioned you like that. What would you like to do?
So as soon as Hengist sees that Gulliver's standing next to him, he's going to whisper to Gulliver and say, "This is the barracks room. With at least one guard asleep in here."
Close the door, Hengist. Put it to so they cannot hear a sound. Don't close it all the way, but just put it to.
Hengist will pull the door so it's ajar.
It's like magic.
We'll close the door completely.
Okay, cool.
I'll move back. I'll seal it, and then if they wake up, they won't be able to get out. Chances are the windows are going to be barred, so they're not going to be able to get out the windows.
Hengist will take a couple of steps back.
Do you not want me to just go in there and maybe kill them in their sleep?
What if they're not bandits? What if they're just the hired help?
There's no honor in killing someone when they're asleep, Hazra.
I do this to live, not for honor. We need to survive this. We need to help people. They would not do would they not do the same to you?
That's not the point.
Wants to start in a spell.
Okay. Which spell are you prepping?
So the spell that I am doing is I shall show you. Submit duration. That. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. Submit. So, one target. 2.
Okay. Yeah.
So the spell that he's going to do. So he's going to hold out. His hand, and as he holds it out, a spear of water appears and starts to swirl as he's casting the spell, and then when it comes to the spell being cast, he's just sort of like going to take that spear and he puts it at the side of the door jamb, and it just sort of like goes round it and almost like fills up the opening around the edge of the door with this swirling water, and then it almost like freezes and then disappears.
Yeah, so that's now hold fast the door. So the door is now held fast.
I need to do the thing first.
Oh, yeah, that's absolutely fine. So remove your 3 magic points from that,
and then he's going to say, "It should last for nearly an hour, I think."
Yeah, because it can only be dispelled by magic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the outside door is also held fast, isn't it?
But that's liable to be coming to an end now, because it was only done for, I think it was 15 minutes.
Okay, this is 30 minutes. Okay then. Yeah, so that door is now, I'm just going to put a little red dot by it. So we remember that it's actually held fast.
Held fast. Yeah.
And then he's going to say to Bartleby, I'm going to get ready to try to neutralize any magic that comes through that opening once it's opened.
I'm afraid I don't know how to do that kind of work.
Ezra will relay to Gulliver what he told Bartleby about the I felt intense fear, and I was a man when I went near the door. It seemed to be drawing me in, but then at the same time I was terrified. I'm not ashamed to say this. I don't know what it was. It's a door. Why should I be terrified of a door?
Was it like the thing?
It's not.
It's not a door. It's
sorry, it says barricade, isn't it? Sorry, barricade. It's just a. It's why? Why should I be afraid?
That feeling when I teleport you, though, Hazra.
I do, but this is possibly. I mean, when you did your magic on me, I don't like that, Gulliver. It's my fear.
Could you all make perception rolls for me, please?
Can I just finish off this neutralize magic?
No, perception rolls first.
Oh my! I'm so rubbish tonight.
Okay. Gulliver, you will hear it, and that's the only person that hears it. There's 2 things that's going to happen. Gulliver, you're the only person who hears the first thing, which you think is almost like a battle cry, and then you all hear the door that is held fast go boom, as if somebody's just sort of like try to charge their way through it, and being bounced back because, of course, it is completely and utterly held fast.
We're going to have to act fast because otherwise the ones outside are going to hear. Just see whether or not you can get that barricade off. And I want to start casting my neutralize magic spell.
Okay then.
Okay. Hengist will.
Bartleby, just to confirm something with your witch sight, the actual wood on this barricade, that wasn't magical in any sense of the word. It was just normal wood. It was the magic that was being drawn through the gaps. So that'd take 3 turns, wouldn't it? Yeah.
And I'm going to hold it until so if I manage to cast it before the planks are taken off, I will hold it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Hengist is going to move towards the barricade, and then when he gets there, he'll put his sword, lean it against I'm assuming it's like an archway with a barricade across it. So he'll lean his sword up on the other side, and then he's going to start trying to pull these boards off.
Okay then. Yeah. Could you make me a perception roll first, and then a brawn roll for me, please?
Yep. And then a brawn. I'm going to use my 1 point of luck to reverse that.
The thing is, if you wish, you can take minutes on it.
No, it's the situation's quite urgent, so he's going to use a point to reverse that.
You use the point of luck, and you sort of like put your hands round the plank of wood, and as you sort of like take your hands around it and give it an almighty yank, that won't be a critical, won't it, on 9? No, it still won't be. And you sort of like brace yourself and you pull it, and it's been tacked in, but from this side, but not to any great. It's not really difficult to get these off. They just seem to be rather hastily hammered in. And while you're doing this, you hear what appears to be a young boy, sort of like maybe a 12-year-old boy, sort of like his voice from inside that says, he's just sort of like hearing whispers, so he just says, help me, oh sorry, help me, like this, through it. And you, with that first brawn roll, you sort of like pull off one of the planks, and you can see inside now, sort of like as you peer through, and it seems to be a room. You can see a dirty window on the opposite side, but it seems to have a lot of furniture in. It seems to have what appears to be a large chair and a table that you can see the edge of. But you notice that they're covered in sort of like giant, almost like dust cloths over it. And you sort of like pull one off and look through, and you just hear this, help me, coming from inside. What would you like to do?
Okay. So hearing that, Hengist is going to try and pull these boards off as quickly as he can. Okay then. So
while Hengist is doing that, what would the rest of you like to do?
Gulliver is finishing spell casting and holding the spell, getting ready to release it should the need arise.
Okay then. And Bartleby and Haswell, what are you guys doing?
Hasra is going to, hearing this door, he obviously heard the bash against the door, so he will
most definitely
stand there ready with scimitar ready, just in case he bursts through.
Yeah, so you can hear this. I'll tell you when it stops. but you sort of like hear somebody trying to bash it. You then almost like hear as if something's been picked up and hit against it, and then you hear the latch rattle, and things like that. So assume that it's going on until I actually tell you it's stopped.
Yep.
And Bartleby, what would you like to do?
I would like to move over to Hengist and pray for him, if I may. The might of Amriel in his arms.
Okay, so hang on. If you requiring to touch him, then Hengist, you will have to stop pulling boards off at that point.
Hengist is not going to stop because he's thinking there's someone trapped in there.
Yeah, because I got this impression that you're violently trying to get in there now.
He's trying to get in there as quick as he can.
So it probably is not a good... You can, if you wish, try to touch him, Bartleby, but you'll have to make an unarmed combat roll for me. It won't be opposed or anything, but if you're successful, you can hit him, or you can just wait.
Getting over there, Bartleby will realize this is not the time to be helping Hengist, so I'm kind of just going to watch him and be prepared to jump in and cast if
so if you'd like to move yourself to where you would like to be. Can you move yourself?
Yeah, cool. I just want to make sure I'm not going to get hit in the face.
Yeah, okay then. So I need 2 more brawn rolls from you. Yep, and just 1 more. Yeah, so you yank off another board, and then another one. It doesn't sort of like yank completely off. It just sort of like splinters a bit, and another hefty kick sort of like brings it, sort of like takes it out, and you can now, if you wish, it's up to you. You've now got enough room to actually get into the room.
Okay. So throwing this...
Just so you know, you hear that they're sort of like, help me, and then you sort of like hear crying. So it's sort of like, help me, like this, as you continue to sort of like pull things through.
Okay. Hengist is going to grab his sword, and as he's going to half pull, so like hang a step, as he is about to climb through, and says, "There's someone trapped in there," and then he's going to disappear through the hole he's made in the barricade.
Okay then. So Hengist grabs his sword and goes into the room. Okay then. So inside this room, I'll just show the rest to Hengist. So it looks like some kind of parlor. It looks very sort of like old, and even when you go in there, you notice that there's sort of like the dust and the dirt is all over the place. This has obviously been sealed for a significant length of time, and that's probably accounts for why it was so easy to pull off the last board. You do notice that there is, I just need to find description. You notice that there's what appears to be a picture on the far north wall. It seems to be of a woman, middle-aged woman, that seems to have a boy sort of like stood beside her. Sort of like in good old portrait and fashion, and it's as you sort of like look at the picture, you notice that the boy's head suddenly sort of like, and you're sort of like blinking at one point because the room is completely empty. And all of a sudden, you notice that this boy's head in the picture droops off to one side, as if there was been a hangman's noose attached to it, and then slowly it seems to detach itself from the picture, and it sort of like drops down on the floor, and then almost like trying to raise its head, it actually uses one of its hands to lift its head up to look at you. And you see that the eyes are completely black and sunken in. And you notice that the boy has deep red marks and whelps around his neck as if he's been strangled in some form. And he turns round to you and he just sort of like lets out this what appears to be this cry of anguish. Just to let you know, nobody else hears this cry, but I do need from you, please, Hengist, a willpower check. Oh, do I know what I just scored? A 1. A 1. I've never seen it before.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, look back. Yeah, so he sort of like lets
Specials.
two specials. Yeah, he lets out this this almost like this scream, and you actually stagger back. You drop your sword, Hengist, and you turn round, and the rest of you just see Hengist belt out of this room, weaponless. He seems to be ashen white. His eyes seem to be burning with some kind of almost like frightened look, and he comes pelting out of the room. You should have on your character sheet, I'm just making sure,
a sanity meter.
Tenacity.
Oh, is it tenacity?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. How many do I lose?
I will tell you in a short.
All of them.
A short while.
Don't say all of them.
No, it's never a roll like that. I always have to roll. 8 of them.
I've only got 5.
Okay, yeah. So you sort of like go screaming out, and he's not sort of like going like that. He actually pelts out. There might even be a faint damp patch somewhere, and he sort of like he sort of like comes rushing past Gulliver and Hazra. Is there anything, Gulliver? You're holding a spell. Hazra, you sort of like see Hengist run past you. Is there anything you would like to do?
Yeah, I told you, terrible fear, and it was not me. There's something in there that's scary, that's frightening. Look at Hengist run.
Yeah, and then he sort of like carries on rushing past you, and since there's no attempt to stop him, and he gets to the door, and you sort of like look round, and you can see that Hengist is banging on the door, not sort of like going like that. He sort of like is rattling the door, trying to actually get it open. He doesn't seem to look at the key or anything like that. He's just literally trying to bash it open.
Get it the quickest way possible.
And at that point, just before we burst into initiative rounds, you see coming out of the just behind in the doorway, so not actually in the doorway, just sort of like one, oh God, come on, Ruben, just sort of like appearing here, so you can actually now see him. Bartleby, you probably can't. But Gulliver and Hazra, you definitely can. It seems to be a young boy. He about 12, 13, 14, and you can see the marks on his neck. And he seems to be almost like staggering to the doorway, to the open doorway. Can we have some initiatives, please? Hengist, there's no need for you to.
Okay.
You are busy.
I'm trying to beat this door into splinters to get out. Yeah.
Right. Bartleby, it's because you've not got your.
No.
It's because it's not got that on. Never mind. That's fine. Okay then. So this is combat. Right. Oh, sorry. I've got to do mine, don't I? This is always a good thing to do. So this is my D10. Yeah. So the boy. We'll call him the boy for the sake of argument. He will be moving after you all on 4. So Hazra, you're first up. What would you like to do?
After saying to Gulliver and seeing Hengist run past him, Hazra wants to try to move to Hengist. I'm just trying to look at my run. Oh, there we go. Movement. I'm going to sprint to Hengist.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to grab him.
Yeah, okay then, that's cool. So just as you leave that door and you start to sprint off, you suddenly hear that the sounds have stopped. So you will move over there on 21 on your first action, and that'll bring us on to you, Bartleby. What would you like to do?
I don't know if I'm within range for this, so I'm just gonna tap the spell that I want to, or the prayer that I want to cast. And I don't think it will work for what I'm trying to do, but Bartleby would think it would work. Want to calm Hengist down so he stops rattling about and gets his bearings back.
You're probably in range. It's definitely not more than 60 meters away. I
thought it was like 15 or something. But.
Yeah, so that's absolutely fine. You roll your folk magic. Yeah, so that's sort of like casts onto him. Hengist, could you roll your willpower, please? And you sort of like cast the spell over to him, and you almost like feel that it starts to take a grip, Bartleby, but you suddenly realise that it's not something natural that is scaring him. It's not like a scared dog or scared cat that you can normally sort of like withdraw it. It's definitely something magical that is actually impacting on him. Gulliver, you're up.
So Gulliver is going to release the neutralized magic spell in the direction of this this boy.
Okay, so I think it. No, I'm on it. I think it's the. But I'm just looking for my resist because it's special, isn't it? Magic negated as long as the duration of the magic, which in most cases more than longer target. Magic with a longer duration. If used against spells or miracles, protected such as a spell protection reflect, neutralized magic takes precedence in those situations. Neutralizer can also be used defensively to negate incoming things. Well, that's not very helpful, isn't it? Suppresses a single spell of the miracle on a target with a magnitude equal or less than its own. So your magnitude is.
I cast it at magnitude 4. I used shaping to increase it.
Oh right, got you. So
that's why it took me 3 turns, because I did range of 15, which is 1 point of shaping to increase the range, and another point of shaping to increase the magnitude.
And it's going off for 15 minutes. Yeah, and you sort of like.
Want me to cast the spell? Because
cast the spell first. That's a good point. I always forget about that when you're holding spells.
Yeah. And I'm going to use a point of luck to re-roll. No, it failed.
Yeah, so you sort of like cast this spell out, and it sort of like comes towards the boy, and you sort of like probably envelops him with water or something. But you notice that he just sort of like pushes his hand out of it, and you notice that it's the boy's turn now, and he takes a step to the room, and he sort of like goes to walk out of it, and you notice that there's some kind of barrier there. It's not the wood. He just sort of like hits against it, and then he sort of like tries to push for a while, and then he just sort of like staggers back somewhat, and he's just sort of like there, and his head is sort of like off to one side, and he just seems to be waiting. Hazra, so this would be turn 2 now, so you need to roll your brawn to grab
well, what I was wanting to do was like put a hand on his shoulder and slap his helmet, and while at the same time saying, "Hengist, my friend, snap out of it."
Yeah, so you sort of like put your friendly hand on his shoulder, and he said, "Hengist," and Hengist does.
Bang.
Yeah, Hengist just continues to violently whack at this door. Bartleby, yeah, you're up.
Would Bartleby have been able to see what happened with the ghost over there, or the spiritual child, or would he still be unaware?
You would have seen something come to the alcove and then back away back into the room. You would have seen that, yeah.
Well, since none of our warriors over here, I'm gonna spend my turn to walk over between Gulliver and the spirit, kind of like this, with my club held defensively, since I'm the fighter now.
Yeah, and you can see this sort of like this hideous aberration of this young boy that just roll either your healing or medicine skill, whichever one it is that you have. I think it's healing, isn't it?
Healing is better than my standard first aid.
Yeah, you as you sort of like get over there, you see that it almost like looks as if this boy has been strangled at one point. Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver's going to...
Bartleby's come and stood in front of you.
But Gulliver's going to say, I don't think he can get out of there, Bartleby. He tried to, but there was something blocking his way.
Is there any that'll be your free action?
Yeah, and then I want to reach into my tunic, and I want to take out the disc that I used to cast.
Yeah, so that'll be 16. On the 4, the boy just sort of like stays there. He seems to almost like be almost like reappraising everything, you know, to try to figure out what's going on, and then so we're on combat turn 3 for anybody who's still got actions left. Hazra
will again. He'll be. I'm hand on both shoulders now. I'm gonna try and shake him like this, so I may need to use a brawn roll.
Okay then. So roll your brawn for me. And Hengist, can you roll your brawn as well?
Can I use
an elbow to the face?
Can I use the point of luck to reverse mine, please? I want to.
You can.
I'm feeling really emotional about this. I want to just... Hengist!
So
we need you!
Okay, then. So...
No, it wouldn't be a crit.
No, it's not a crit, no.
No, but you will have succeeded in a standard roll, wouldn't you? But it wouldn't be a crit.
No.
Yeah, so you... What's your standard brawn, Hengist? 68.
68. Yeah, I only got a 23.
Yeah, because it's not actually 68 at the moment. It's a lot higher than that because of your fear. But yeah, so you sort of like put your arms on him, and the opposed roll goes against each other. But of course, Hengist is bigger. In the roll, so you sort of like try to stop him, and he just Hengist just sort of like shakes you off quite rapidly. You don't seem to take any action against Hazra Hengist. You just sort of like go back to the door. Could you just roll for me, please, your willpower? Yeah, and you still haven't thought about the key or anything like that. You're just sort of like bashing at this door, but you can, Hazra, you can see that, you know, it. Pretty soon, Hengist is going to apply his full force to it.
That's right. He's going to get through the door eventually.
Yeah, and Bartleby, you're next up if you have any actions left.
I don't.
Okay, and Gulliver, if you have any actions left.
Gulliver is going to outstretch his hand holding this disc, and he's going to start casting a spell.
Okay, and you notice that the boy on his final round, sort of like as you're watching him, Bartleby and Gulliver, you notice that he slowly starts to almost like drift away, as if parts of him and slowly dissipate from him, as if he's like turned into smoke and things are pulling him back. And by the end of his turn, he's actually no longer stood there. It's almost as if it was just a vision, a ghost, while you were there. And at the same time as that happens, Hengist, you start to get your willpower back, and you sort of like slowly sort of like think, what on earth am I doing here? And, you know, and Hazra, you're sort of like shaking him, and you sort of like think, you know, what's going on? And you just got this feeling of dread in it. Okay, so we'll go out of combat order for the time being. So, yeah, what would you like to do?
Hengist, my friend, what did you see in that room? Why were you so... I mean, I felt terrible fear when I went near the planks on the wall. You left your sword behind, you ran, and you were trying to escape. What was it?
It was terrible. It's some sort of thing came out the wall, and I don't want to talk about it.
I do understand, my friend. At some point we will have to talk about it, though, because a fear conquered is a fear defeated.
Gulliver and Bartleby, what would you like to be doing now?
Gulliver will say to Bartleby, it's going to be in there, Bartleby, if it's going to be anywhere. They won't have had time to search it if they saw what we saw and knew that it couldn't leave the room, then they were just going to seal it and leave it. Excellent.
He's so terrified he's lost his voice.
I agree with you.
Bartleby,
I
this
just lost in thought about ghosts for a moment.
Yeah, this being, this child, reminds you very much. It brings back memories of the haunt that actually attacked you at the farmer's house with the husk zombies. If you remember back to that, it was a very similar feeling. You definitely feel it's some kind of spirit, rather than which would explain why you weren't familiar with the magic that was drawing there. So just reply to Gulliver. Sorry.
I agree with you, but I don't know how any of us would get in there unless we can reason with this spirit. Perhaps if it sees me as a servant of Amriel, it'll let me enter. unscathed.
Well, if you do, pick up Hengist's sword.
Gulliver and Bartleby, can you just make perception rolls for me, please? Yeah, and while you're busy having that discussion, you suddenly hear from the window backing onto the garden. You hear somebody.
Which one? Sorry.
This one here.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's all like down here. You can see just through the dark, murky glass what appears to be a bandit that's similar to the. And he's sort of like banging on the window, and he sort of like says, "Oi, let me in!" Like this, and he's sort of like banging on the window. And that seems to be appropriate time. I know it's a little bit early, but it seems to be an appropriate time to take our break. And so we can then be back to pick this up rather than starting on the next bit and then go from there. So if you're watching the stream, then we are going to take a quick 10-minute break here, and then we will be back. So go away, stretch your legs, get some beverages and a snack, and we will see you back in 10 minutes. So see you soon. over by the door. And Bartleby and Gulliver, you've just had your conversation and seen this, and this is where we left it. So, pick it up from there. Let's go to Hengist and Hengist and Hasra first over by the door. What would you guys like to do?
Well, hearing the banging on the window, I'm going to look at Hengist.
You didn't hear the banging on
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Only Gulliver and Bartleby.
Sorry, my apologies. Hengist, my friend, where is your sword?
Angus is going to, for the first time, look at his hands, and then he's going to check his sheath. I think I left it in the room with the... And then his face goes even more pale. He doesn't even mention what he saw. His just face goes pale again from the sheer memory of the horror.
Azrael will just pat him on the shoulder and say, Hengist, you need to overcome this. I had the same problem. Let us move again to the door which is barricaded from the sleeping guards. And then perhaps maybe one step further we can take it one step at a time.
Okay, so you head back. Both head back to this area. Bartleby and Gulliver, what would you like to do? As you Hengist and Bartleby, Hengist and Hasra, once you get to that, after Bartleby and Gulliver would have done their action, you will have heard the the bandit, bang on the window. Bartleby and Gulliver, what would you guys like to do?
Look to Gulliver to see what we should do, because Bartleby doesn't know what to say to somebody when he's trespassing.
There's only two things that would have got Hengist to run like that.
Have you been thinking about this throughout the whole break? This is going to be some cryptic line. I can feel it coming.
Something scared him senseless and caused him to run.
Well, but if there's a guard right there who's going to break that window, I think that's more imminent danger at the current moment.
Yeah, he's sort of you can hear him shouting through. He sort of says, "Open the door, you idiot! Who are you? What are you doing here?"
Can I shout back to him? And
yes.
just shout, "Hold on!" It's the best I can do to buy time, guys.
I love it. Hold on.
I've got an urgent bowel movement.
He sort of says, "Who are you? Who are you? What is going on?"
Gulliver will say, "We need to act fast," and he's going to start heading towards this door here.
Yeah, okay, then you head toward... It's now it's an alcove, it's not a door. It's got bits of wood splintered off that Hengist pulled off beforehand.
He's going to turn to Bartleby and says, "Bartleby, we might need you to wave your hands around in here." And he's going to step through.
Bartleby will very reluctantly follow. But standing outside of that doorway and preparing to cast his prayer of Amriel's eyes.
Okay then. So Gulliver, Hasra and Hengist, is there anything you guys would like to do?
I'm coaxing and Hengist and myself, because I need a lot of coaxing as well, further towards the door. So maybe... I have no worries you going to the door. I have a bit of a problem with Hengist going to the door. So, Hengist, you... Yeah, I am literally trying to coax him forward.
Yeah,
and I'm holding his arm in a friendly gesture.
In which case, Hengist, make a willpower roll for me, please. Yeah, no. Hengist, even you with your friendly gestures, not going anywhere. So so you two are there. You can still hear the bandit out on the doorway, out on the window, crashing at it. Yeah, you'll probably both be sort of back here where you were before. And so Gulliver, you step into the room. Yeah, what would you like to do?
So as soon as he steps into the room, he sort of
There's only one exit out of here. which is the window that you can see to the west wall. And can you remember how I described it to Hengist?
Was there furniture in it?
Yeah, there's a couple of chairs. There's like a big table in the middle, almost like a study table, not like a dining room table. And there's sort of like some kind of stand that might have had candles on it or something like that. And there's sort of like dust cloths.
Bookcase or anything?
No,
like
not. It looks more like almost like a parlor rather than a study. And it obviously it doesn't look like it's ever had a door, so it would be something that you just walk into. And then it's on the northern wall that there is this picture.
Okay.
Of
that somewhere in the room there was this boy with the strangulation marks around his neck. So he does have his emblem of Fladnag out, which he's sort of like holding out in front of him and sort of like sweeping the room to see whether or not he can see anything. But his plan is to maybe head over towards the small table, thinking that maybe it was like a writing table like Master Healer used to work on, and there might be like a drawer in it or something that might have a clue in it.
Right. Okay. Then I'm just going to I'm just importing the picture because I just realised I have it of the picture on the wall that you could see. Here we go. Can you see that?
Oh yes.
Yeah, very nice.
Horrifying.
Yeah, so that's the picture that's on the wall, and then
I know why Hengist ran away.
And then that's the creature that comes from it. Yeah, and you sort of like get into the room, Gulliver, and you start to make your way to the table in the middle, and it seems to you sort of like lift up the cloth, and yeah, it's got some a couple of drawers there, and it's at that point that you sense out of your corner of your eye that this creature is slowly detaches itself from the picture. And as it sort of like detaches itself from the picture, it sort of like materializes as a boy, and then its head is like that, and it slowly lifts its head up. Yeah, what would you like to do?
The distance it is from me, would I have a chance to maybe open the drawer and grab the contents of it, or?
What, and then run?
Basically.
Yeah, okay then. So
I don't know how many drawers there are. I don't know.
Well, roll your willpower for me. So you just sort of like see it drop down to the thing, and you quickly just sort of like stick your hand in the drawer. There seems to be some parchment in there. And you sort of like grab it out of the drawer and sort of like curtail it out of the room, making your willpower roll there. Slightly better than willpower than Hengist, I think. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you sort of like come out, and you see, just as before, the child sort of like materializes in the doorway. It tries to follow you out and sort of like can't get through the barrier, then steps back and then dematerializes once more.
Gulliver said to Bartleby, you were supposed to be backing me up, Bartleby.
Gulliver, you did get this feeling of dread that Hengist got as well. The only thing that stopped you freaking out was your sheer willpower to sort of like suppress the hideous cries, etc.
You were only in there for, what was it, 3-4 seconds? You didn't give me much time to follow you, Gulliver.
I thought you were going to be right behind me. I just got in and grabbed what I could. It was just these parchments. Is he still knocking?
Yeah, sorry, I was just while you all stood there, I was just checking what his brawn was.
This card won't hold on forever.
He sort of like bashes out the window, and you sort of like hear him hit it, and he goes "fuck" like that as he sort of like shakes his hand, and he sort of like you can see he's looking around for something on the road, on the ground. He sort of like seems to step away from the window momentarily.
Please don't let him come back with a goat.
Oh, what a fantastic idea!
Just throw the goat through the window.
We already have one. We don't need another one.
Yeah, but now you have lump hefting. He has goat hefting.
Roll goat.
Wow. Yes. Yeah. What would you like to do, guys?
I don't know whether or not the information I've got here is going to be useful. We need time to go through it and.
Oliver, my friend, you seem to have gone in the room fine and come back again. Did you find Hengist's sword in there?
I didn't look for Hengist's sword.
No. Maybe if you go again, you could find his sword. Me and Hengist will go around the pool. If Hengist, follow me. Do you want to come to the window and say hello to the man banging?
As long as I don't go anywhere near that room.
That's fine. We go around this way. We go around the long way, around here, around the pool, and then up here to the window. And
okay, so as you approached to the window, you notice that the guy is approaching as well. He seems to have some kind of it seems almost like a spade or some kind of garden equipment, and it seems to be he's holding it in two hands, and as you sort of like come towards the window, he sort of like brings it back and he whacks it against the actual window, and it sort of like goes bash down it, and you notice Hazra, as you are getting a little bit closer, the window goes like that. It hasn't come through, but it started to have those cracks emanating from the point, and he sort of like brings it back again, and he's about
prepare myself ready to repel him.
Is that where you wish to stand at the moment? Yeah, you got your scimitar out.
Mute.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
yes, I'll take a step back, the scimitar out, preparing myself, because glass will go everywhere if it comes inside.
Yeah, so he brings it back again, and he whacks it again against the glass, and sure enough, it goes like that, and you hear him sort of like uttering a sort of like a series of swear words as he sort of like wields it back. Bartleby and Gulliver.
I was going to say, once he does that, I'm going to whisper to Hengist. Hengist, once he's through, you stand in front of me. You can protect me, and I will attack.
Okay, Bartleby and Gulliver, what would you like to do?
Bartleby, I think, foolishly wants to try and communicate with the spirit, and maybe, but I don't know if this is how it would work, maybe, but if I could use the exhort skill to perhaps like show the spirit that I'm a follower of Amriel, a good and pure person.
The only issue with this, and you know this from being religious, etc., is that it's two different kinds of spirits. This is obviously some kind of benign spirit, which would more be linked to shamans and animists and things like this. This isn't a ghost spirit like clerics turning. You literally have no power over spirits, as you found out once with the haunt.
Twice, because we had the one ghost lady, the Shrike.
Oh yes, the Banshee one. Yeah, the Shrike. Yeah. Gulliver, is there anything? So you've probably been thinking about that, yeah?
Yeah.
He's going to sort of like drop down to his onto his hands and knees with these parchments, and he's going to put them on the floor, and he's going to start quickly scanning through them to see whether or
Okay,
not...
just make for me, please, a literacy roll. I just want to see how much information you get from them by quickly going across. Yeah, they seem to be love letters as far as you can tell. It seems to be some communication backwards and forwards between two people pouring out their love and saying that their voices are sweet as rose petal flowers falling on a soft summer day. And
Does it look like they're all the same?
Most definitely. And as you're sort of like looking through, you hear this almighty crash as the glass sort of like shatters from the window. It doesn't take all the window down, but it takes quite a good bit of it down. It sort of like shatters down onto the ground, and they're sort of like, it just sort of like, almost like falls out of its frame and sort of like smashes down onto the ground. Hasra, can you just make for me an evade roll, but it will be very easy.
Evade.
Yeah, and you manage to sort of like get out of the way of the shattering glass. Quite a lot of it falls onto the bandit man, and let me just roll his evade and see how much he gets hit by it. Yeah, and it sort of like goes down, and you notice that sort of like some of it actually sort of like hits into him in various locations on his body. He seems to have quite a big bit sticking out of his right leg, some kind of shard, and little cuts all over the place. So you hear him sort of like swear again as it, and he sort of like, he doesn't seem to have any armor on his top half. He just seems to have like a cloth shirt, and then we will now burst into let me just clear it off. We'll burst into some combat. Let me just get my bandit. He's not this big, don't panic. I'll just remove that blue dot. Okay, yeah, so by all means, roll some initiative, please.
Yeah.
I looked at Hengist and it just says 1. What? Hengist has got 1. Right, what am I doing? Initiative, aren't I? 11. Let me just roll. Why don't I have a button for a D10? You would have thought I would have had a button for a D10. Just a random D10. What was that? That came at 2. 13. Right. Let's. Who has the biggest bonus between Gulliver and Hasra?
Been did the same. Oh, I got 12.
I'm 11.
Okay, then. So Gulliver will go first. Then Hasra. Then Hengist. Then the bandit. Then Bartleby. So this is round 1, turn 1, and Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver's going to stand up, clutching these papers that he got from the thing, and he's going to say to Bartleby, "They're useless. It's all useless."
Okay, Hasra, you're up.
Hasra is going to move to the right-hand side of Hengist, and you're going to use Hengist as a shield, in a sense.
Okay then, Hengist, what are you going to do?
Hengist is.
Yeah, I just see this as Hasra moves there, Hengist moves there. Hasra moves there.
Hengist isn't going to get involved in that silly game. Hengist is going to delay his action and take a defensive action if he's attacked.
Okay, so the bandit moves on 13 and closes combat to combat range with Hengist. And Bartleby, you're on 11.
Question real quick. Looking into room C.
Is it a hard one? Is it a hard question?
It might be a stupid question. Do I still see the kid, or has he dematerialized?
He's dematerialized. He seems to dematerialize after a few minutes of sort of like standing there. Then he gets sucked back into the mirror, the picture. Sorry.
Okay. And I can see that Hengist doesn't have his sword, correct?
Well, you know that he didn't come out. You can probably you can make a perception roll if you want to see where it is.
I says it would have heard me ask Gulliver to get the sword.
Yeah, I think Bartleby's planning on dashing in there. So in which case he'll want to know exactly. He knows it's in there. He's trying to ascertain where exactly it is, which would be your perception roll.
Oh, I was just trying to figure out if Bartleby would even think that the sword's in there, because he's just going to go dash in there and try and find it.
You can. Is that what? Do you wish to dash in and try to find it? Because if you can make a perception roll if you wish, so you know exactly where it is, so you can then move into where it is, or you can move in there and then make the perception roll to try to find it.
I'm going to do the first one because I'm not the hare right now. I'm willing to use a point of luck to re-roll this if it fails. Here's my perception.
You can see it. It's definitely there, so you can move directly to it on your next turn. So this is combat turn 2 now. Gulliver.
Gulliver's decided on his plan, and he is going to dash back into the room.
Okay, just dashing randomly into the room.
Well, he's going to dash in and he's going to stop there so that he's in sight of the picture.
Okay, cool. Hazra, it's your go.
Am I close enough to hit, is it? Or
No,
I just don't combat?
You are not in combat range.
I'll move to engage.
Okay, then. Hengist, it's your turn.
Now this chap's coming to range. Hengist is going to try and punch him in the face.
Okay, roll your unarmed combat.
And misses terribly.
Okay, just let me have a look. He's got his spade at the moment. Okay then, so he'll let that one go. But on 13 he will strike with his spade. Which his skill's 50% with his spade. So he gets a hit.
Hengist is going to use his last action point to try and parry or block.
Okay, so this would be unarmed combat.
Nope.
No, so he brings the spade round quite nicely. And also ignore that roll, because he will have
it's a masterwork spade.
He will have his special. So he's going to literally try to stun location as it comes in. So this is his that stun location is the thing. This is his to hit roll. And 9 is the location.
Abdomen.
Ooh.
And then this is his D6 for his spade, which is 6 points of damage.
Do you have his shield up?
So that's
His shield's on his back.
Yes, I have not put it back on. I ran away. I've been attacking a door.
That's true.
Okay. So that is 1 point of damage going through his
Okay,
arm.
then. So I've also overcome your armor, so you need to make an endurance roll versus my initial attack, which was 17. So as long as you succeed, that's absolutely fine, because otherwise you would have been winded and only able to defend. So he sort of like comes around. You sort of like try to do a left hook, and he's just sort of like dodges out the way, going straight into your stomach as this hits your stomach. He sort of like nearly wings you, but you manage to sort of like edge or tense your abs to sort of like take the blow. Bartleby, you're up.
It's a free action to drop your weapon, right?
It's a free action to drop your action as long as you haven't spoken this combat round yet, which you haven't.
Okay, then I'm going to use my free action to drop my club because I figure I'll need 2 hands to lift such a mighty sword, and then I will run into the room to near the sword.
Okay then, and so now we're on to combat turn 3 for anybody who still has actions left. Gulliver?
Yeah, so Gulliver is going to point at this painting with his 2 fingers crossed, and he wants to aim for where he saw the boy detach himself from.
Yeah, so that's actually the boy.
Yeah. And he's going to say, "Knight Persid!" as he tries to cast a disruption. His aim is to sort of like try to rip the...
Okay then, yeah. So, while you're in your folk magic spell.
You want me to link the spell? Or?
No, it's 1d3, isn't it? I think, yeah. So I don't have a resist, so yeah, so that's fine. So you just need to do 1d3 worth of damage. Hoping for a big number, can I just say at this point? Yeah, you sort of middle of the road, yeah, and you notice that there's a slight tear in it. It's definitely gone through, but not ripped it completely. It hasn't sort of like tore it to bits, but it's definitely gone through and pierced the to the back of the painting. That was on 19, and don't forget to reduce magic points. Hazra, you're on 19 as well.
I will take a swipe at the bandit in the hope of pushing him away from Hengist.
So are you grappling him, or
no? I'm using my scimitar to forcibly attack.
Yeah. Yes, that'll be a hit. So I got no action points left. So it's really good now. See, I have my action points on my keyboard with my little cards. So what I do, as sure as I've taken it, it's like that to start off with, and then as sure as I've taken it, I just turn it over, and so I know that I've got no action points left with that.
I'm less fancy. I use the die.
As you can say, I've got a pencil and I write it.
And then I have stun location, propped up as well, ready on my keyboard, all ready to do it. So
if you get a complete set, you say Jin.
Yeah, no, I just kill someone. Hasra, you have a special hit location damage, please.
Right, my location. Your special will be press advantage, and location will be number 10. Damage will be scimitar 5. So 5 and you 10, and I'm pressing location. Press advantage. Sorry.
Yeah, which means that I cannot attack on my next turn.
That's right.
Yeah. So therefore, where did you hit him? Sorry.
At 10, which is your
chest. Yeah, which I just have a whippy shirt on at the moment. How many damage?
Very nice, stylish shirt. Number 5.
5. So that's. Yeah. Okay then. So you do a slash across him. He doesn't seem to, but he seems to be quite used to combat. You draw blood, but it's still just a minor wound. But he will be defending for the next turn. I've just got to get my cannot attack spell. Look. Excellent. And Hengist.
No action points.
Okay. Bandit is out of action points. And Bartleby, do you have any action points left?
Nope, just still trotting to the sword.
Cool. So therefore, this is.
I would like to expend a luck point and buy an action point at the end of the round.
Okay then. Yep.
And with my action point, I again want to point at this picture and say "Knight Persid" and cast another spell.
Cool.
So it's the same spell coming off again.
Yeah, 1d3 worth of damage. Yeah, and it sort of like splits it well and truly now. There's definitely a hole. The child's probably got no face now. And so you sort of like ripped it to bits.
This is when the creature comes out again, but he's just got a blank bit.
So this is combat round 2, turn 1, and Gulliver, you're up.
Gulliver wants to draw his dagger from his belt.
Brilliant. So Hazrat, you're up.
I will be attacking the bandits again. Combat style. There we go.
Okay, so he it is a critical, but I mean he would quite naturally try to defend against this.
He will indeed.
His skill. So he actually needs. If he gets a standard roll, then you will get 1 special on him, including which can be a crit if you wish. If he fails, then you'll get 2. 1 that could be a crit if you want it to be. His skill is 50, by the way.
We don't see your rolls.
Oh, sorry. I was meaning to do it as a roll, but it came out at 68. So he fails. So you have two specials. 1 could be a crit if you wish.
Yeah, I will do max damage, and again, I can't stop that, can I? So I will do max damage, and I will do a scarf bow.
Okay then. So do hit location for me, please. 15 is his right arm.
Yeah.
And do some damage for me, please.
Well, it's max damage, so it's going to be 8.
8. Right arm. He's got that armor. Do that.
While he does it, he flourishes his sword, his scimitar. He does it. He does an upstroke and a cross stroke and a funny, almost like a diagonal stroke. And he thinks of how his H is done, but he doesn't know because he can't read.
I didn't know whether or not you wouldn't just keep pressing advantage. So he constantly cannot. He has to defend.
I'm not sure it's stackable, so I didn't.
No, it's you're not stacking it because he can attack next round, next turn. It's only for the next turn. So
totally my fault. I thought
he gets a 97 on his endurance, which means that he actually. I think he passes out. So he
drop his spade.
He actually falls to the ground. He's not dead. It looks like he's unconscious. He drops a spade, etc. It's quite easy for you to either finish him off if you want to kill him, or tie him up. Remember, if you tie him up, then it'll take another 5 foot of your rope. 1 meter of your rope. That you've got. Anyway, it's you, Hengist. What do you wish to do? Is there anything that you would like to do? I can't hear you.
Hengist.
I don't think
I hadn't said anything. I just
oh, sorry.
He was just looking at
with an
Probably cake.
No cake. I'm not the chubby chops. No, he's going to move to the broken glass. Broken bit of the window
and start to sweep it up. No, it's not that clean. And he'll poke his head through to see if there's anyone else coming. Yeah, you sort of like you move to the window, then you can roll your perception next turn, and then we're Bartleby. You're on 11.
If I'm within reach, I'd like to use my turn to ready the sword that's on the ground, and if I can use my free action, I would say. Thanks for protecting me, Billy.
Yeah, so you've now got Hengist's sword, and this picture frame looks well and truly nothing seems to be coming out of it, Gulliver, now. And you notice that it's slightly rocking on its hinges, on its things, but it doesn't look like anything's actually coming out of it. Okay, so you guys can either stay in the room or leave it. Hazra, what do you want to do with this unconscious guard?
Cue de grace, please.
Okay, then. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so is it you're cutting its throat, or?
Yeah, quite simply, just put my scimitar against his throat, and just as quick as possible across his throat.
Yeah, so you sort of like bend down after saving all these other bandits throughout all the other adventures and tying them up and sort of like even hang on, I haven't finished yet. Even leaving the two Batrachians when you're halfway through the swamp. Sorry. Did somebody like Gulliver stop you? Yeah,
that's right.
Gulliver and Angus did the thing.
So you sort of like just slice this defeated.
These bandits have just chased me off with a goat thing and made me wee myself. So I'm like,
yeah. Well, that's why I was really surprised that you tied up the other bandits and let them go.
I did want to do that.
Yeah, so it's sort of like, no, it's all right. I've got a coin here as well. Oh yeah, cut throat. Yeah, so you bend down and you sort of like run your sword across the bandit's throat and sort of like kill him. His blood sort of like pouring out across the floor. And Hengist, you hear the sort of like the. Because of course he was unconscious, and now he's just sort of like slowly dying as this froth and blood sort of like appear at his throat.
Fills up his lungs.
Hengist, you look out. There's no other guard or anything outside. Okay. Gulliver and Bartleby, what would you like to do?
Gulliver looks at his knife and sort of like looks at Bartleby and then puts his knife away, and he's going to say, I wasn't protecting you, Bartleby. I was going to go and slash it a bit more. Sure.
Seems you have protected me. But do you think the spirit's going to emerge now that the source has been destroyed?
I'm hopefully we're going to have some time. Can you see whether or not there's any other sources of magic in here?
Yes, but I'll need my hands free. Let me return this bit of metal to Angus really quick. I'm gonna start trotting on over.
Yeah, so you sort of like come out. You're likely to come out just as Hazra finishes the deadly blow to this unconscious bandit on the floor. He just sort of like comes out and just sort of like Hengist is looking out the window, and this guard is obviously, I mean, he had a spade. And he's obviously unconscious on the floor. He's just got a linen shirt on, and you notice that Hazra just sort of like lifts his chin up of the thing, and while he's totally unconscious, and sort of like slits his throat, and like I say, you hear the as this bandit slowly dies.
He would have woken up and come behind us and killed us all with his spade. And his gardening outfit. So Bartleby, you see that. Hengist, you've finished looking outside and you turn around and see it as well. Gulliver, is there anything else you would like to do in this room?
Is there anything Gulliver wants to keep an wary eye on this painting? If it starts to materialize again out of it, then he's gonna run at it with his dagger and try to slash it before it slash the painting before it gets out. But he wants to start looking underneath these cloths to see whether or not there's any other bookcases or desks or anything like that.
No, there seems to be two chairs, this table. There seems to be a little bit of a dresser in the corner. There's all these sort of like china and bits of paper in there. There seems to be nothing of great importance. And it's interesting that this is the only room that actually has its original furnitures in that you imagine. So
used for firewood.
Yeah, so back to Hengist, Hazra, and Bartleby. Bartleby, you give Hengist's sword back. What would you guys like to do?
Hengist will turn to Bartleby and say, "Thank you very much, Bartleby. It's really good of you to return my sword." And then he'll point it at Hazra and say, and you'll see anger, then disgust and disdain go across Hengist's face, and he turns to Hazra and says, we're pointing the sword at sort of Hazra's throat, and says, "You could have tied him up," and then he's going to stalk off.
There's a bit of blood on the floor.
And he's going to be very careful to go around the blood.
Well, as soon as Hengist says that, Hazra will glare at him back and say, "Would you leave a wounded buck in the forest to die and suffer like that? This man was a dangerous person. He would have killed us. He would have woken up and come behind us and killed us. And if I hadn't have done this, you would have known. Look at the Batrachians that we left behind. They joined the gang. The group followed us and almost killed us because we left them tied up. Survival is very important to me, and I intend to survive any way I can."
He's flanking him. He's got his back turned. He's stalking off. So
whereabouts is Hengist?
Hengist is going to stalk off. He's not going near the room yet, but he's going to stalk off and sort of like wait in the middle.
So he's just
of the room.
sort of like going off and sulking somewhere.
He's having a huff.
That's what I was trying to. You're actually going off on a huff.
He's angry with. Angry and disgusted that Hazra did that, because he said you could have tied him up, and then he's walked off.
So you're just going off in a huff. Yeah. Okay then, Bartleby. What's your plan now?
Well, since I guess I'm the only one receiving the lecture from Hazra, I'll nod attentively and then say, "I'm needed elsewhere at the moment. Hazra, I understand you do what you do, but you sword swingers it's all volatile." And then I'll stomp off to go over, but not stomping. I don't know why I said that.
Okay then, yeah. So Hengist goes off in the huff to stand by the pool. Bartleby, you go back into the room and find Gulliver sort of like sorting things out. Hazra, what would you like to do?
I feel I need somewhere to stomp to, but I don't know. I'm going to go out this window here and have a look around this area, because it's still not open to me. So I will look and see if there's anybody else coming around, because this guards come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So
So I will reveal what you can see on either side of the garden. Okay, so you can see this pool. You can see from where you're stood that there's a mosaic in the middle of the palisade. If you remember, there was a palisade with a plinth. That's right. And you can see that there's some kind of mosaic chipped onto the floor. The pool in the middle looks quite dirty. It doesn't look clean at all. You can see two doors over to the west of the garden. The garden obviously carries on round the corner or somewhere here. It just seems to be. You can see a set of double doors to the north. Okay. And this here is a window. Okay. And then this here is a door, and that door is actually open.
Right. So,
hang on. There's something else. And the other thing that you can actually see in the almost like sort of like walking around quite innocently, as if there's just sort of like munching on the grass. Appears to be sort of like 3 or 4 goats. They look quite normal, and you notice that round the palisade, you can see that in places there seems to be some kind of wooden like slats, that have been crudely made like two bars and a cross panel that sort of like could possibly actually fence them into this where this mosaic is. And but it looks like they've either been removed, some of them, or the goats have knocked them down, and the goats are quite freely sort of like chomping away on the grass, and then that's it. Okay, then let's head back to Bartleby and Gulliver. What would you guys like to be doing?
Bartleby was hoping once he's in here, and ideally I stopped and grabbed my club, but if I don't, it doesn't really matter.
That's fine. You can have your club, yeah.
Excellent. I'm going to note that down. I would like to, if I can, take minutes to pray to Amriel for her eyes and her sight to reveal all that is to be revealed.
Yes,
I'll just
Gulliver's just going to watch him, hoping that he casts the spell, and all of a sudden he turns around and points somewhere, and Gulliver's going to immediately rush over to it.
Cool. So, yeah, roll your folk magic.
All right, I'm planning on using luck if I can't get this to go through.
Yeah, so luck will make it go through with a 7. The magic appears to be dissipating from inside the room. It seems to be hanging there. It probably emanated from the painting at one point, but it is slowly sort of like dissipating. It's definitely some kind of spiritual shamanic magic. And it's slowly going. You can just see the remnants of it as it slowly sort of like eases back and dissipates into the natural world. Hengist, you're stood in the huff by the pool.
Yeah, so Hengist wants to sort of like gingerly go towards the entrance so that he can see Bartleby and Gulliver, and then he's going to say, Has that creature gone? And then, depending on the response, he's then going to head.
Bartleby or Gulliver can respond if you wish.
Bartleby will respond mostly to Gulliver, but loud enough probably that if you're right outside, you could hear. It seems the magic has disappeared from this room, or is disappearing quickly. I don't think what we're looking for is here. In this room.
In that case, Hengist will carefully and warily walk towards the door and the doorway and stand in the doorway.
Okay, cool. Hasra, let's come back to you outside.
What? I'll move to this mosaic. What is it a mosaic of?
Yeah, so you sort of like go over. It seems to be some kind of scenery.
Mm-hmm.
Is there something that you particularly want to do, or?
Yeah, I want to see what kind of scenery it is. If it's anything of importance, I would say, "Oh, I recognise that place." Or
okay, so you want to see whether or not you recognise the place,
or if it's just a random picture, or
okay, here we go.
Because we are looking for clues, aren't we?
I have no idea what you're doing anymore. I can safely hold up my hands and say I have literally no idea. Right. Let me just upload this. Yes, roll your locale. Let's see whether or not you recognise the place. No, it doesn't seem to be anything that you actually recognise at all. Is there anything else you would like to do?
No. I will go back to the group and I will tell them what I've seen outside.
Okay, cool. I do have a picture that won't seem to load up.
Is the mosaic like one of those things? Do you know when you?
Oh, now I've got two of them.
To actually make it out, you have to be sort of like above it and sort of like looking down to actually be able to make out what it is. If it's too big, do you know when
you can probably all go out and have a look if you wish. You seem to be finished in this room. If that's what you wish to do.
Yeah, we'll.
Okay, so you sort of like bypass the sort of like the guys finish sort of like frothing at the throat. And you sort of like, so put yourselves out into the garden area, and let me just reveal a little bit more of it for you as you come out.
I can't move till Fatty Hengist has moved. I can't get back through the door. I'm stuck in the doorway.
I can move you, don't worry.
Oh, hang on. It wasn't the doorway. It was. I got caught on that little black bit there.
Okay, so you can be easier for me to move yourself. Are you staying in the?
No, I can't get through. That's as far as I can physically move the token. Thank you.
Okay then. So this is what the mosaic looks like. I'll make it a bit bigger so you can see it. Can you see that all right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that you can see that. I'll just ping it. This corner is the corner that is there on the map. Can you see that?
Okay.
Can you see which way round it is? Hence, if you look at the picture of the mosaic, the mountains.
So it's the right way around to us at the moment. The mountain's upside down in a sense.
Yeah. So essentially, it's sort of like round the other way.
Or like 180.
Yeah. It really annoys me that the actual pictures, I need to figure out why that happens. I probably need to not show. Yeah, so it's round the other way. I don't know why, but every time I click on it, I get the symbols above it.
Can you download it and then turn it round and then re-upload it?
No, I've done it. It's all right. So it's actually. Can you see that now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's actually the way round it is. Does that make sense?
Mm.
Yeah.
It's weird because if you look at it that way and then that doesn't make any sense of what it is to me. But as soon as you turn it round, it does.
And that's why I've sort of like turned it. Oops, just moved the whole map. That's why I've sort of like turned it round so you can, because you can sort of like go round the back of it, you know, and to see what it's like. So yeah, that's what it looks like.
The first thing that Gulliver notices about it are the three standing stones.
Yeah.
Are they similar to the ones that we encountered outside?
Well, they you can't.
Just a little bit hefting.
There looks like there's actually 4 standing stones. And like a broken one, but there's not. It doesn't seem to be. You can't see any markings on it. You can see something just down by the side of that, though. If you look.
Oh, the little man and the rock. Here.
Yeah, and you can actually see some other signs roundabout as well.
You've got the snake, well, the batrachians as such here. You've got a diamond and lightning here.
So I wasn't.
You've got Mr. Ben over here. No.
This bit here is that bit is a chip in the.
Yeah.
Okay.
You've also got cave entrance here as well.
Bartleby, do you recognise the area from any of these landmarks?
Let me think. Would I be able to have Bartleby roll locale or history?
Yeah, just 1 second. Okay then. Yeah. You can roll whichever one you wish.
Oh, I prefer history. So I'm going to do that. Pow.
Okay then. Yeah.
Could I use a point of luck to make that a 1?
It's still and then it'll be a critical at that one.
Critical
as well.
history.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay then. So you don't.
No, you don't recognize it.
In the beginning.
No, that you've never seen it at all. It's just, you.
No, I haven't, though. I'm certain of it.
There's two areas that you look at and you sort of like piece together just from the pictures. Down at the bottom, the thing that Hazra was calling snakes, you suddenly suggest that maybe they're not snakes, maybe they could be eels, because you do know of a river to the north, past Eubene Falls, a river known as Eel River, which could be that, they could be snakes, but it could be Eel River. The other thing that you notice is that the pointed mountain at the back, it's quite a point on it, and it reminds you of a location known as Father's Spike. Father's as in apostrophe S Spike, and it's a location again far to the north past Eubene Falls, in the Black Vale Mountains. You're not too sure what the other things or the other places could be. You're a bit concerned about the smoke coming from one of the mountains. You don't know of any volcanic activity. You almost like point out the lush river plain down at the bottom. The river is actually going through what appears to be a mountain. A floodplain. The other thing that you sort of like point out to people that it could be is there seems to be a walled city, but that's very similar to Lindo, but there does seem to be some kind of building on top of a pyramid shape area just to the northeast of it that would look very much like a temple, and this is only because you had a critical roll, and I'm going to give you something. You do remember that there used to be a cartographer very similar to Sylvester Macoun, called Fastilius Slump, who you remember from reading in your temple did some cartography of this area. He's actually in Lindo, and he might actually be able to assist on it. If you just to let you know, so if you care to take some time and study this, then you can do that. Obviously any notes that you take down on your pad is completely up to you, but obviously you can't take a picture of the mosaic, and you certainly can't take it with you.
Could I ask, if Gulliver, my friend, or Mr. Bartleby, is you have any parchment or this paper thing you can maybe draw or sketch a rough idea what this we can take with us?
If anybody,
Master Edie says that a good scholar should always carry parchment and an ink and quill with them. Isn't that right, Bartleby?
That's right.
and
I just brought books that I don't want to damage.
Bartleby whips out a candle.
Gulliver's going to take off his backpack and he's going to open it up and take out a roll of parchment that he has.
Okay, so how long are you planning on sitting here and drawing it?
I want to get the basic landmarks so I'll start off with the town and I'll just draw the river and then
then so go for it. Anything that you jot down you can have when you next do the adventure. So
I want to make note of as far as Gulliver's concerned, there's like a there's some, they almost look like runes.
Yeah, you can write down anything that you wish onto your map. You won't actually be able to do any deciphering yet because you're actually jotting it down. And once you're finished, hold it up to the camera so I can see what you've got. What's the rest of you going to be doing while this is happening?
This isn't going to take long.
I'm going to press shift and print screen.
And in the adventure, what would you like to do?
I'm going to wait and just watch around the area covering the doors while... let me just zoom out, sorry. And zoom back in again. So I'll be moving around the garden, just surveying.
Okay then, yeah. You can see the two doors off to the east, and the double door up to the north, and the door that was open on the west, east as well. Sorry, the west and east. Yeah, that definitely seems to be the edge of the garden there. Let me just check. Just need to make sure I'm on the right bit. I'm just seeing what's in those two. I don't know whether or not those are the rooms with the dragons in or not. Oh yes, I know what's in them now. Yes, what's everybody else do?
It's very quick at...
okay then, let's have a look. Oh, hang on, I just have to open it up. On the... Cool, that's excellent. Okay then, so yeah.
Can you tell what it's going to be yet?
Yeah, okay then. So yeah, people sort of like hang around.
And he's there with his sort of like his tongue out the side of his mouth as he's doing it, and occasionally there's a blot appears.
Yeah, and you notice that Hazra keeps moving to these goats, and the goats keep going and sort of like running away from him as he gets getting close to them.
No!
Angus would have been talking to Bartleby and saying,
"Oh yeah, go for it."
Do you think this is the clue to where the shrine is? I mean, there's two things in this mosaic that could potentially be the shrine. There's obviously the one that's just above the city there, and then Hengist will gesture at that weird like pyramid-shaped building just to the north of the town, and the mosaic instead. And then there's also what seems to be a cave up in one of the mountains. I mean, either of those two could be a good location if it's not here in the villa.
Indeed, it could be entirely the clue we're looking for, or art.
Well, that is also true, but it's. I mean, if after we've looked through the villa as thoroughly as we can, that could be worth having a look at.
Guys, I'm trying to concentrate here.
Let's not bother the artist, Hengist.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gulliver. Yes, let's go talk over somewhere else.
Don't disturb my goats.
Yeah, the goats are not coming anywhere near you, Hazra. They just sort of like pelt it anyway every time you go anywhere near it. Yeah, what? So Gulliver, you've sort of like finished your drawing.
Yeah. So once he's finished, he's going to carefully roll it up and put it that along with his ink and his quill back in his backpack, and he's going to stand up, put his backpack on, and say, "Has anybody checked these? Are these doors? Did you say?
Yeah.
Has anybody checked those doors?"
Working on it.
No, I haven't yet. I've been more concerned about watching the area while you were drawing the map. Can we have Hengist perhaps come to the door and open them?
Angus will walk towards the furthest door and draw his sword and then carefully open the door.
Yeah, so both these rooms, they seem to be like outbuildings. A lot of their roof tiles have sort of like fallen off. There seems to be mattresses on the floor. Not a load, only sort of like one or two. It seems to be in a grubby state of repair, both of them. And these mattresses look quite out of place here. Hengist, can you just roll a perception roll for me, please? Yeah, you also see there seems to be some articles of female clothing in here as well.
Okay. Angus will turn and say, just seems to be another room, perhaps one of the servant girls or something. And then he's going to move off. Was that both of them? Was that just
they're
the one?
both exactly the same.
So, yeah,
Gulliver,
he'll go back in that case to everyone.
Gulliver make a perception check on this mosaic?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to ask.
Was it? Thank you.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm on my wrong character sheet. I'm nearly there. Bear with me. Got a standard.
Do you wish to use a point of luck?
No.
Okay. You notice that.
The only reason I say that is that I don't have any luck left.
All right. You notice that down in one corner, it doesn't matter which corner, there is some lettering, some writing, and it says, "For my beautiful wife, that her visions became truth." I'll say it again. For my beautiful wife.
Hang on, I just need to find my pen. He wants to take out his parchment and he wants to write it down.
Yeah, okay then. So, for my beautiful wife, that her visions became truth.
Is it signed by anybody?
No.
There's no initials or anything?
No,
like that?
and it looks like it's been here for since the mosaic was actually created.
Is it actually written on it or
On it, yes.
And the other thing that I wanted to see with my perception roll is whether or not any of the damage to it looks like it's been caused recently.
No, it looks like the goats are probably herded into here. You can see that there's sort of like 3 what appear to be female goats. And Hazra, you do see one that seems to be quite big. Obviously some kind of billy goat.
Yeah.
And you can tell from your survival that he looks like he's getting quite anxious, and he sort of like keeps looking at you and sort of like shaking his head and doing a bit of snorting. You notice that he's got 2 huge sweat back horns on his head.
Yeah. Noticing he's getting anxious, I will move away back to the group, putting Hengist between me and the butt of a goat.
I think we might need that shovel.
Why, Gulliver?
Well, we weren't the only people looking for this. If they haven't found it already, then it needs to be destroyed. I thought the best way to destroy it would be to get the shovel underneath these little bits of stone and maybe try to prize them up.
You know, I actually agree, Gulliver. This is a very good idea. If this is a clue that everybody's looking for, we destroy it now.
It's going to take a significant amount of time and energy to actually lever up this whole mosaic, if that's what you're planning on doing.
In that case, can we just build a fire on? Could we not build a fire on top and maybe scorch the mosaic? So
It is ceramic, like most mosaics are. So I mean, it would blacken it, but
Yes.
Anyway, it might alert the other bandits that have gone out towards the caravan that something is amiss here.
Mm.
If we don't have time to destroy, we should try to get ahead of them. We should make our way as fast as we can back to Lindo. Find out what we can about this area and about these runes. These runes don't look. I don't know, something about them, and see whether or not we can. I don't know. Maybe the order can help us get a head start on them. Maybe there's some type of teleporters that will get them somewhere close to it.
That's true. Is there not another set of doors at the end of this?
yes,
courtyard? Perhaps we should.
There's two doors. There's a set of double doors here. Sorry, I'm on my wrong tool. Set of double doors here, and then this door here is the one that was open.
Should we not check those doors out first and finish checking the villa? There might be more clues here. If this is one, there's likely to be more.
I agree.
Okay, I'm going to go back in and grab those love letters as well, or grab that parchment. And Gulliver wants to go back in there, which he can't get through, to grab
You can. I presume that you brought those with you in any case.
He's
So.
going to stick those.
Oh, I was going to say you brought them out into this room, didn't you? Yes, yeah.
Okay. Hengist will move towards the door that's open up this way.
So you can see that this obviously goes into the original door, the original room that you saw the guard in. It's obviously that he heard you as much as the other person did. The door was shut, so he came through this door, and then this door, and then outside.
Oh, you could have told me there was a door going out of it, Hengist.
I didn't know, but Gulliver, I didn't go into the room.
I'm too far away to say it.
So you can see that this, you can see sort of like there. You can also see now that there's doors over on the north and the western wall. Hazra, you're over by these double doors. What would you like to do?
Hazra's muted.
Sorry. I'd like to put my ear to them and have a listen before I open them.
So you put your ear to the door and have a listen.
If I hear nothing, I will gently crack open the door and peer through.
Yeah, how far are you opening the doors?
Just a couple of inches so I can get a good vision of...
you won't get good vision with a couple of inches. It's like that. That is not good vision.
Well, you know what I mean? I want to just see outside where it goes.
Okay, so you open the doors to actually see what's beyond them, rather than trying to not alert anything. So basically what you've got either side is this. So you can see that there's a corridor going east and west. You can see that it comes out into a large room at the western edge and goes to, there's a double set of double doors and two single doors on the opposite side. The room straight in front of you, there's quite a smell of animals, and you can actually hear coming from around the corner, almost like the movement of animals. You sort of like have a quick look in there, and this seems to be some kind of stable. It seems to have a couple of donkeys in there, and there seems to be sort of like tackle in the room that you're in at the moment that is obviously used to harness up the donkeys to sort of like move them about, so to speak.
Okay, in which case I will I'll pull back out again, and I'll mention what I've just seen.
Yeah, cool.
It seems to be stables of some kind in here.
And this one leads.
There's more. There's another corridor with more doors in. Sorry, Hazara. Sorry.
And this one seems to lead into the room where we saw the bandits and Gulliver froze the door. Perhaps there's
to go, guys, before the other guards turn up, or they come back from raiding the caravan. We need to get to the horses. We need to get back to Lindo.
I agree, Gulliver. You don't think there's anything else here that we could find?
Like what?
Chalice?
A spear?
We don't know what we're looking for. We could spend ages just picking things up at random. This mosaic is the clue that we need.
If you think this is true, then yes, I agree, Gulliver. We must leave. We have been on our luck at the moment, and I think our luck is almost out of time.
I think we should go.
Yes. Does everybody agree? Let us go. Gulliver knows what he's talking about.
It's very true. I think we might be missing potentially something, but Gulliver's wise. If you think that this is the clue, I'm inclined to...
I like that. So if it's not Gulliver, you're to blame.
Yes. He is potentially wise.
Yeah, I know. Is how. Oh, bloody hell, Gulliver again.
Yeah.
it's always Gulliver. Hengist will say,
slush puppy.
Say again, sorry.
Are you eating a slush puppy?
No, I'm
then?
just drinking Coca-Cola.
Oh, right. I thought
okay.
But I've got a silicon straw that I'm using.
it looked like a slush puppy.
Oh, silicon.
Reusable.
Yeah, reusable, so I'm not harming the environment.
Okay, so we're going to start making our way out.
I just need to know. Are you coming back through the dead body way?
Yeah, because I'm not sure about there's anything there. I'm not going to look at it as I go past, but yeah, we're going to go back through these doors at the end.
Just to let you know that as you walk past, you read the love letters again, and it's from somebody who has recently been married, and you notice that the love letters are from a guy who has a tattoo, and you notice that this body has a tattoo as well, and they've just
stayed,
and they've just had some their firstborn little girl, and that without the money that this bandit was going to bring home, then the young baby will die.
Why did they lock them in a room with a ghost?
They weren't locked in a room with a ghost. The sea was partitioned up from the outside.
Oh, I see.
The bandits have blocked it off, so
it's a letterbox, and the outside is posted through.
Nobody came in. So bless. Yeah. Okay then. So I just need to know your plan of exit.
Okay, so Gulliver wants to retrace his steps, the way he came. So he's going to open the door, and then he's going to come back round down here this way.
Oh, so you're going back through the
courtyard and
the way that he came through the courtyard. So down here through this door,
Yeah.
through the orchard,
Yeah.
and then over the
Over here.
It was over one of the back corners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hasra
Right,
been lost?
Was it there? I thought it was further.
No,
No, it's the other side. It was the other side.
That's right. Hasra being last one out of the room will lock the door behind him and take the key with him. For no reason other than mischief.
So you're going to lock it from the outside.
Lock it from the outside and take the key.
Okay, then that's absolutely fine. So you sort of like make your way out, and then what is the plan to head back to Goodwool?
So the plan is to get the horses, and then head back to Goodwool.
Goodwool, and then on to Lindo.
Yeah. Okay, so you sort of like make your way out, and you sort of like clamber over the walls, hopefully with the information that's going to help you. And you sort of like head back down to Goodwool, and you sort of like probably stay off the road for the majority of the time, and you sort of like carry on. Then as you see Goodwool in the distance, you sort of like move off the more onto the road and sort of like heading down. And as you ride closer, it's getting to dusk now. You've been here quite a while, and night is coming in, and there's something very strange that you notice as you ride towards Goodwool. Because when you arrived beforehand, there was lights and smoke from various places. And as you get closer, you're not entering the walls, sort of like the city, the town, hamlet area yet. But as you ride closer, you definitely get this this strange feeling that you sort of like look down at Goodwool, and there appears to be no sort of like lights or smoke or anything like that coming from the village at all. It's as if it's almost like deserted, and you sort of like carry on riding on your horses, and you sort of like you get this feeling that as you ride closer and closer, you almost like hear the echoes of your horse's footsteps, on the horse's hooves on the ground. And you approach Goodwool, and you just get to the outside, the first sort of like town. And remember, it has a road through the centre. And as you sort of like look through, you realise that there appears to be no lights or sounds coming from Goodwool at all, apart from maybe the creak of the tavern sign over the Lamb and Plough over the tavern, just sort of like going, and that will be an appropriate place to leave it for this week, and we can pick it up there next time. So I will move you over there. Gulliver, you have the map, so just remember that you've got that, and just make sure you put it down whereabouts you're hiding it, whether or not it's in your backpack or in your pants or wherever, tucked down the front of your tunic, just so we know where it is, just in case something gets.
It's gonna be in his boot. He's gonna fold it up.
That's cool. Just make a note of it on your character sheet, and then that's it. Brilliant. So yeah, so you seem to have some of the information you hope from Lucius's villa. It's definitely a very strange mosaic that Bartleby noticed some of the areas of, and a very strange inscription that was written down at the corner. So maybe there was other things lurking or are waiting to be found within the villa, but you for better or for worse, quickly evacuated and came back to Goodwool, locking the door from the outside as you exit it. And Hazra, you have the key for that. But yeah, like I said, approaching Goodwool, it seems to be a lot quieter than it was before. Okay, so does anybody have any announcements for before we go?
I do not.
No. Anyone else? No.
Nope.
Are you
No.
streaming this next week, Mr. Pickles?
What's that?
Are you streaming this next week?
I am, but I'm not sure what day I'm going to be streaming on. Probably Tuesday or Thursday, but my schedule is going to be kind of weird. If you're looking for somebody playing PlayStation 2, not an emulator, then the Pickle Show.
Well, the Pickle Show. Excellent. Yeah, a very interesting game the other day with those superheroes.
Oh yeah, that's currently the one I'm loving right now. Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Awesome. That's the best game ever.
Fantastic.
God.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then. So thank you for watching today. I hope you really enjoyed today's actual play. Like I said, if you would like to have more, find out more about the system, then do head over to my YouTube channel, where you can find a whole load of videos explaining both everything from character generation through to combat and opposed roles, etc. I will be streaming again tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock BST, British Summer Time, which will be some more Elder Scrolls Online as we continue to get the Gwar emote and hopefully do some tanking on the as we go as well. Until then, I would just like to say to each and every one of you, please remember to be who you are and say what you think, because the people who mind don't matter and the people who matter don't mind. Have fun, and I'll catch you all later. And until then, happy role playing. See you all later, guys. Bye. Say goodbye.
Bye. Bye.